Tale of the Hyena, a story from Africa. In all this world, over land or sea, there's no creature hungrier than hyena. The lion, well, she kills. The pride eat, then they lay down under the thorn bush and rest until they hunger again. But hyena is never satisfied, always hungry, always looking for her next meal. Now it happened that one day hyena was out looking for his next meal, walking along a path with his nose in the air and his eyes are wide open, looking, sniffing, smelling, seeing if he could find something to eat. But there was nothing. At length he came to a fork in the road. One path led off to the left, one path led off to the right. Now, hyena's brains work exceedingly slowly, so hyena stopped for a while, scratched behind his ear with his paw while he wondered which way he should go. He looked to the left, he looked to the right, and he couldn't decide which way, left or right. Then hyena had an idea. Perhaps, he thought, if I went along to the left path and sniffed and smelt, I might get a sense of what's along that path, and then I could come back and go along the right path and sniff and smell and see what's down there. And so the idea took root. Hyena went off along the left path, took a few steps, and he stopped. He raised his nose to the air. He took a deep breath, and oh, the smell that met him down that path. There was cooking pots, there was rubbish tips. Oh yes, there was a village down that path. That was the way he should go. That was definitely the way, because where there's a village, the pots had meat in them, the tips had good eating in them, and that was the way he should go. And so he set off down the leftmost path. Now, he hadn't gone very far down that path when a second thought, struck him. Where there's a village, he thought, there are women with sharp voices, and children with sharp stones, and men with sharp sticks. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe I better not go down this path yet. Maybe I better try the other path, the rightmost path. And so hyena retraced his steps to the fork in the road, and then set off down the rightmost path and stopped and raised his nose to the air and sniffed. And oh, the smell that met him caused his jaws to water, his mouth to drip. It was so beautiful, because down that path he could smell the freshly killed gazelle, and gazelles were hyena's favourite food. And so hyena set off down the rightmost path. But he hadn't gone very far when a third thought struck him. Because, thought hyena, where there's a kill, there's a killer. And that killer is likely to be lion. And lions don't share their food with anybody, particularly not with hyenas. So hyena retraced his steps to the fork in the road, and he stopped and he scratched his ear, and he wondered for a while. Which way should he go? To the left, to the village, to the right, to the gazelle, to the left, to the sharp sticks and stones, and right to the lions with sharp claws. Which way should he go? He could not decide. He could not make his mind up. And he sat and he waited for ages, and sometimes he set off down that path and came back, and sometimes he set off down that path and came back. He could not work out which way he should go. And then hyena had a fourth idea. Maybe, he thought, maybe if I cut myself in two from my nose to my tail, then half could go that way and half could go that way, and we could get the best of both worlds. Either half gets attacked by the villagers or the lions, then there's still the other half left. And so that was what Hyena did. He cut himself in half from his nose to the tip of his tail, and half set off to the left and half set off to the right. But neither half had gone very far before they realized the fatal flaw in this argument. One half can't survive without the other half. And the left half of Hyena fell to the left, and the right half of Hyena fell to the right, and they lay there, dead. Now that story was told to some school children, some schoolboys in a school in Nairobi. Now some of the children that heard that story from the city, and others from the villages round about. And when they'd heard that story, they were asked, "Now tell me, is that story true?" And the boys from the city all said, "No, of course that story is not true. Hyenas can't cut themselves in half. It's rubbish, it's just a story, it's not true at all." But the boys from the village, the boys who were used to hearing such stories, said, "Oh yes, yes, that story's true. The truth of that story is that greed kills. That's a true story. And that is a true story."